Hello everybody, I am Brian Mullins the Fox, and you asked for it.
Your votes are in!
You voted for the video where I address some issues that I have when it comes to enjoying the movie, finding the flaws, and how to be a better critic. Critics suck nowadays, with repetitive, over-the-top, benign critiques of movies that either they don't understand enough or they understand far too much. This goes for video games too. The whole Gamergate thing was a huge fucking shit show. This commentary video consists of 4 segments. So let's begin with the first one, shall we? Ah yes, quality over quantity. I meant quantity over quality. Star Wars, since 1977, became a perfect example of this financial mentality. More sequels means the more money it makes, the more bad movies will be released. Remakes, reboots, and sequels are currently popular in Hollywood because they are so commercially successful. Naturally, the movie loses its true objective value, but the only subjective things, or rather objective things when you look at it, was the book written by Alan Dean Foster, which was then credited to George Lucas. The Boomer Jedi himself. The Star Wars movie with the biggest box office was The Force Awakens, but the original legacy of Star Wars was far overblown. It can only have such a legacy that time itself warps it. You can't really enjoy the movie if it's long, long ago in a galaxy far, far away. And if this original Star Wars movie from 1977 was based after the fact that we lost the Vietnam War, then I am deeply disappointed in the Hollywood industry. We cannot celebrate defeats as a nation. We just can't, because losing wars fucking suck. Just because it's from a book, with every Star Wars movie that has ever been released, with every single little finite detail, the lightsabers, Darth Vader, Space Cow Titty Milk, I don't give a fuck. It does not make the Star Wars movies worth watching. I can only read a book thoroughly so many fucking times until I get tired of it. There should have been 5 movies, not 11, which includes the solo movie and the other solo movie, whatever. Even with that arbitrary standard I just made up, there's far too much detail to go around. Maybe 2 Star Wars movies, 1 TV series, reruns on TV, and that's it. Star Wars killed that mentality. It made so much money that it blows my mind. If it's just making money for the sake of making money, it's no longer a movie anymore. It's an overblown fad. Also, a great example of quantity over quality is the Final Fantasy series. How many games do they have to make? Seriously, why are the fans so fucking needy? This is one of the main examples on why weebs and weeaboos suck. Razor Fist named Final Fantasy 13 the worst video game of the whole goddamn decade. There are other video games and movies where they make more sequels than they need to. There's just too many sequels to go around. I can only watch so many Star Wars movies that I quit. I can only play so many video games that I get bored. And I don't even play Final Fantasy at all. These anti-SJWs need to admit that these SJWs aren't ruining Star Wars for you. They are trying to add more flavor, more detail, something even kids can watch without being bored. And if it's this mentality, this outright hostility on both sides of this space tisme aisle, which I will jump into the next section. It sucks to be a fan when you can't even blow. Fucking breathe! This is the part of the video where I will get a little angry and go off on a huge, long rant. So, if you are a Star Wars fan, or a very staunch critic, or nitpicky in any way, take my rant with a grain of salt, or learn from it. I'm not a fan of EFAP, which consists predominantly of Mauler, Rags, Wolf, J, also known as Sin Sins, J Longbone, Fringy, Appabend, Dash Bullshit, and a few others. I'm not a fan of Star Wars, like I've said before. It's incredibly fucking boring. But if your mentality or your way of treating those who dissent to you is to just tell them to either leave my movie alone, get over it, or fuck right off, then it's impossible for me to respect you as a movie fan or a person, and rather see you as a gatekeeping asshole. I'm not a fan of Final Fantasy. I do not masturbate to anything to do with fucking anime. I don't watch hentai at all. But if you're gonna treat me like I'm your fucking enemy and have a shared goal to take me down by circle jerking with your friends, shit talking me, or whatever, fuck you. I hate to sound like I'm beating a horse, but politics has ruined how critics analyze shit. Oh, this shit is woke as fuck. This shit is sexist. This shit is racist. Fuck those SJW cucks. Fuck those racist, misogynistic, sexist, fascist, Nazi pigs. I know I get tired of it, but raging at this is tiring. So I digress. I take any benign bullshit excuse with a grain of salt. Fans ruin everything. Fans need to understand, or at least come to a general consensus on how the franchise continues, movie after movie, sequel after sequel, not just demand for either more diversity or no diversity at all. If Star Wars is not anymore somewhat diverse, it loses its own plot. If it's too diverse, it ruins everything you know Star Wars to be since you were like fucking 5. Either get the plot or fuck off. Now, here's how to actually be a better fucking critic. Here are the 10 key things to actually be a better critic, in my opinion. Number 1, keep identity politics out of it. 2, stop complaining and whining about diversity. 3, stop giving characters an overgeneralized critique based on simple characteristics like the gender, race, nationality, religion, or whatever, and how diverse they are in general. Number 4, stop basing your hatred of the movie by its budget or box office. Just because it fails in the box office doesn't always make it a bad movie. 5, either quit whining and actually make a good critique of the movie or fuck off. 6, stop relying too much on the character in a movie. Every character has flaws. Don't put too much weight on a character for what they do and say. That's petty. 7, stop having these expectations that this character or that other characters would or will do something that I like or how it's actually supposed to be in the book. 8, if you actually want to see your favorite character or another character in a certain way that was depicted in a book or based on a true story, don't be the one dictating what the character should or should not fucking do. Your biases or expectations are not based on the movie. Neither is it based on the biases of the director, producer, or whatnot. All of the time. It's either the people that made the movie or it cannot plagiarize the book. 9, if this sequel of Star Wars is worse than the last, then stop watching. If the sequel of Final Fantasy or any other video game franchise is worse than the last, then stop fucking playing it. And last but not least, number 10, know your limits, know when to stop, know when to compromise, or shut the fuck up. Stop treating everybody that is critical of anything you love or hate as your fucking enemy. Quit the movie/video game critic community or whatever you call it and find a different one to socialize in. Critics suck, and if you don't like any of them, stop watching them. Watch something else. For most of the time. You may go back to watching them, at least not binge watching them now. There's too much content on YouTube to go around anyway. The sky's the fucking limit. I am Brian Mullins the Fox, signing out. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.